with my new beanie.
I don't think it's weird.
I think it's pretty weird because it's like super tight and it
It's
looks like
different. You know that One Piece guy, the skeleton?
uh. Does he go like you?
I don't know. I haven't watched One Piece, but I've seen this guy in a poster. It's like this tall skeleton with an afro.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
got
yeah,
like a
yeah.
headband. That's kind of what you're doing right now.
I don't
Coming
I
out.
don't look like the skeleton. His jawline is like magnificent. Mine is like I got like puffy cheeks.
Let me see. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's
but,
not
like,
bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks weird. I look like an alien, dude. Oh.
Try beanie off. Try taking it off. No, not the beanie.
Dude, the stench would destroy everything. Okay, officially starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Journalism Club interviews. I'm back at Mr. Zavala's. Again, I love this room. I love everything about it. It's so quiet and like there's no background noise except that little vent. It's pretty
It's
annoying.
like squeaky.
Yeah.
I don't. The mics will not pick it up though.
Nah. But yeah, I have a very special guest with me here today. Introduce yourself.
My name is Max Gurevich. I am a junior, and I go to ASTI, and I am the vice president of Journalism Club.
Yeah, I thought you were just an officer.
No, I'm the vice president.
Oh man, how's it feel being the vice president?
Feels good. I mean, initially the idea for the club was I was going to do a newspaper club with Elvis and Rowan.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to do a journalism club with like interviews. So we were like, why don't we just combine the clubs? So then I was like, all right, I could be vice president. Elvis, I think, left the club.
Oh,
Or
shit.
he's took it because he said he wasn't really interested in it anymore. Rowan's still the treasurer, but then Benji and Ava, who would have been the president and vice president of the other like interview journalism club,
Yeah.
they're the co-presidents of the way journalism club is now.
I see. I thought you took Ava's position.
No, I didn't.
There would be some tension there.
I was offered president actually, so I
Really?
could have been the president right here, but I was like humble,
Oh,
like
yeah.
George Washington.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, it's good. Next year I got it.
Next year. So yeah, being humble. I feel like. Do you think it's good to be humble, like all the way?
I mean, it depends how you look at it. I don't know. You could see it as like a virtuous thing, but I think in general, it's just good for your personal psychology.
Yeah.
If you really inflate yourself, then you hold yourself to this kind of standard where at a certain point, the bubble bursts and all of a sudden you have like this complete like degradation. You're like, oh my God, I'm not who I thought I was by so much. Because if you really let your ego keep going, it's going to build itself up.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to reach a certain point where you have these like preconceptions about yourself
Yeah.
or you have this conception of yourself that's not accurate at all.
So you're saying the ego is like a fake identity that's like built because what you want to see yourself as.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I've had that experience before with my drumming where I think I was like 2 years into drumming and I was like, wow, I'm so
You're the
good.
best.
I'm
dude.
so good.
Best.
I'm so good. I could play this. I could play this.
Yeah.
And then I heard someone recommend like, oh, sometimes you might think you're better than you are. Record yourself playing and listen back to it. Because when you're in the zone, everything feels right.
Yeah.
But when you record yourself and you listen back, you're like, oh my God, this is so
That
bad.
was terrible.
And I didn't touch the drum set for like 2 weeks after that.
I feel like wasn't there like anybody around just tell you like you're trash and bring you down, or did you just not listen?
I didn't really have those experiences, honestly. Most people were very nice to me.
Oh.
And it's also because maybe if I was playing like guitar or piano or something, that's something people easily understand. But drums, people generally don't tend to understand like what you're supposed to do, like what it's supposed to sound like. What they're used to is like I don't know, like a trap beat, which is really is like.
But it sounds good.
It sounds good, but it's easy. So then, as a drummer, you want to push yourself, and you do all these weird things, and people don't know if it's good or bad. They don't really know what to think.
That's true. Because I watched what was that movie with
Whiplash.
Whiplash? Yeah, the Jewish sergeant. Yeah, I thought was he like an expert drummer?
He was very good. Yeah.
Okay.
Not the actual actor. They got a stunt double for most of it,
Yeah.
but he did learn enough so that when it was his face and the drums together, it looked realistic.
Even the final scene, that
Yeah.
was just all him.
No, the final scene was not. It was because there's only certain parts. Usually they would have like a shot of his face when he's going like really fast at this, and
Yeah.
he's like
Yeah.
like that with his face. So Yeah, it was mostly other drummers that they had sitting in.
So is that accurate? You know, with the face, it's just like it looks like you're like when you're really in the zone, you don't even know what face you're
It's
making.
kind of accurate. I've recorded myself. It's pretty accurate. When you're really, it's not even just when you're alone. Like I don't think that's something that would happen during a drum solo necessarily,
Mhm.
but when you're playing with other guys and it's getting really funky and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
dirty
That's the
music. I don't know
ugly
how to.
face.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
That's
yeah. I tend to kind of stick my jaw out like this,
uh-huh. While you're
and
playing
like
the
that.
drum.
Yeah, that's when I'm really into it. But
Do you all like your teammates see that when they're like playing guitar? They're like,
with guitar, it's usually like
yeah,
some weird stuff. Like I have a friend who's a guitarist, and every time he solos, he gets on the floor with the guitar and he starts rocking on his butt like this on the floor while he's playing, and he's like,
That's the greats. That's
and then,
the greats.
but that's not everyone. Like I have a friend who sits still and he just
Mhm.
completely like emotionless. Sometimes he'll like sway his head a little bit with his eyes closed. That's how you know he's really locked in. But otherwise, he's usually just kind of like this. It's it's different for people.
Mm-hmm. First question. Anything shocked you during the school year?
This school year,
Yeah.
I think one thing that was kind of interesting is how easy college classes are if you really use Rate My Professor properly.
That's true.
Then you just get a really easy professor and it's a really easy A. I'm already done with all my classes
Oh man.
because they just opened their assignments early and I just did them early and now I'm done basically.
Oh.
I only have my leadership and science seminar finals to worry about.
Mhm.
For leadership, you're supposed to do something to impact the community. And Mr. Long suggested I could do like drum lessons or something.
Oh,
So I'm
man.
probably gonna put up like a sign sometime this week and then offer those. Hopefully that'll get me a good enough grade.
Mhm.
And science seminar, I was doing a short film with Kalim.
Yeah.
And we finished filming most of it. We have one scene that's a nighttime scene that we didn't get to film. But other than that, we basically finished filming everything and he just needs to edit it. But he's been pretty swamped with other
Yeah.
stuff.
So it's like a short story.
Yeah, it's like probably going to be 10, 11 minutes, something like that. We had to write it really last minute because
Uh-huh.
originally we were going to film something on the USS Hornet. It
Oh.
was going to be like a sci-fi movie, but they suddenly said, "Oh, it's going to be $300."
$300.
Yeah, so I was like, "No."
Why can't you just get your school to back you up?
I don't know. I don't know, but we didn't plan it very well either, and in the end, we just ended up doing this sort of last-minute script.
Mhm.
There's some problems with it, but it was good enough to film, I think.
Back to the US one. Why can't you just just film out in public? Just like
Because it depends. For a sci-fi movie, you need a very specific looking set.
Mhm.
It either needs to be everything green so you can key it out as a green screen editor,
Yeah.
or it needs to just look like an actual spaceship. So we kind of wanted to go somewhere in the middle because green screening an entire set is really hard to make it look real.
Yeah.
It's just gonna look like whoever's behind the green screen is just like floating in this random environment. It's not gonna look
there's
real.
like fuzz and stuff.
Yeah, it's not gonna look right. So we wanted to go in the Hornet because they have these rooms that look like submarines. They got these switches and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks spaceshipy enough. But then we were gonna key out the windows to make it look like space out of the windows.
Oh man.
But I don't know how well that would have looked. Kalim said the effect is kind of advanced. He doesn't know if he could have done that to make it look really realistic.
I see. That's cool. Like, filming, you could just, like, I don't know, sci-fi movie. Why'd you decide to choose a sci-fi movie?
I think it was just because we were in science seminar and we were like, we know we want to do a short film
Mhm.
and we're in science seminar, so let's do sci-fi. That sounds fitting.
Yeah.
Because the science seminar project is just do something STEAM. And
That's like your only project for like seminars.
that's the whole, he gives the project to you at the first day of the semester and it's
Mhm.
due at the end of the semester.
That's sick.
It was really good, yeah. And it's kind of sad because the sci-fi script we had was actually really good. I really liked it, but
Yeah, you were like weren't you like working on it for like a couple of months and it's just like boom, you can't do it.
yeah, it was like 2 months of script writing. It was a really solid script. We had to make a lot of changes based on the set that we had, but then they were just like, they were kind of almost like leading us on with the emails. They're like, yeah, okay, we could do this. And then at the last email, they're like, okay, that's going to be $300. I was like, what the hell?
Oh, you gotta complain, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
So
I should have asked up front, but
yeah.
also they shouldn't have sort of pulled me along.
It
like
led
that.
you for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Destroyed you.
Well, the reservation process was probably like 1 month of emails back and forth because they kept on messing up the date. But
Oh man. I mean,
yeah, they destroyed me. I died that day.
okay. Okay. Next question. How many like clubs are you in?
The only clubs I could say that I'm active in are Journalism Club, obviously, and then I don't know. I mean, I've done interact stuff before. I've done initiative stuff before. I'm not doing that this year though. Um, Activism I sometimes participate in as well, but I'm not super club active. I don't know.
I thought you were like super spirited.
I am spirited for school events, but I don't know. Some of the clubs are just kind of not too interesting for me. I'd rather be doing something else.
That's true. I don't know. I haven't really been to club meetings, but last time I've been, I think it was journalism, and it was just like all presentations of like slides and that and this. Just basically like community service.
Yeah, and then you go to the events, the community service events. Honestly,
How are they?
those are all right. I mean, they're fun. You kind of have to. It's not. It's. I'd rather be doing other things personally,
Yeah.
but they're good. I already have my 20 hours, and I'm not planning to get 200 hours for some awards.
You're not gonna get that award?
No.
I mean, you could get to Harvard if you got that award.
I don't think you need it to get into Harvard, but I'm not really worried about getting into Harvard, honestly.
You just want like how about like in an Ivy League?
I mean, I would be glad if I got in, but also I wouldn't be disappointed if I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting to get in, is what I'm saying.
Okay. So, do you think that's that ego, your humbleness playing on your downfall? Because what if, you don't actually submit an application because you don't think you're going to get in, but you actually get in?
Well, I can never know from my perspective. I guess if you talk to me for a while, you'd be able to tell. I think it's just not really seeing such an appeal. Like, yeah, it's good, but there's no reason, especially if I'm going to be thousands of dollars in debt to go to this school.
That's true.
It's not really worth doing. Probably a UC or CSU would be better if it's going to be a lot cheaper.
Do you think school is going to be a major play? Or are you like sort of like an entrepreneur?
I'm definitely not an entrepreneur because I hate taking risks. I don't like my dad's trying to get me into investing and I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of scary. I don't know.
It's scary. I think it's just boring, if I'm gonna be honest.
It's not necessarily boring. I mean, you just have to kind of look at these things and just think, oh, what do I think is gonna go up? Like after Trump got elected, I was figuring, oh, the drilling oil companies are probably going to go up because he's going to actually let them drill in the US as opposed to, buying oil from the Middle East. So I figured, oh, that would be a good place to invest. But also never put your eggs all in one basket or else that's how you could lose it all.
That's how yeah.
You can have minor losses if you spread it and major victories at the same time.
You wouldn't want to invest in like a crypto scheme?
No. I think my dad has like 0.00000008 Bitcoin or something like that.
Damn, he's rich. But yeah, you could like trick a lot of people these days with like crypto scams. Cause you know that hot tour girl, she made a crypto coin called.
She actually?
Yeah, she actually made a crypto coin. People bought in.
I don't know how people buy into this. I would never.
Well, I mean, if you look at the charts, first days it was like at 400 million.
Wow.
For like one coin, but then it dropped to like 40 mil, and people lost like basically.
So is this a hawk to a bubble?
Hawk to a bubble? What
was
do you
it
mean?
like a wait, are you an econ?
No, I'm not an econ.
Okay, never mind then.
I don't.
It's
know
a Mr. Hans joke.
Hawk to a bubble.
A bubble is basically when people overvalue something and then people keep buying it until a certain price. Where let's say I buy it at like 1 million and I'm planning to resell it, but no one was willing to buy it. So then the price plummets and then I'm left with like having paid 900,000 and getting back like 10,000. You know what I mean? Damn. It's when like prices overinflate and then plummet.
That's
really
a bubble.
fast. Yeah, it's a bubble.
Kind of looks like a bubble. If you think about
it. It's like a mountain,
but
it's It looks like a bubble if you cut it in half, I guess. But the point is that it like the bubble pops at a certain point and then it stops being overinflated.
Oh,
It's like if you're gonna inflate a balloon at a certain point, you're pushing past the threshold. No one's willing to buy it anymore, but
mhm.
people really want to sell it, so it pops. Everyone keeps lowering their prices so they can finally get off their hands.
Yeah. Do you think that's gonna happen with gold?
With gold,
Yeah.
is gold trendy now? Is that something that's happening?
Gold's not trendy, but it's pretty expensive. If like stayed at like a steady price for a while.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Gold has been really steady throughout history.
Yeah.
They even used gold to back currency. They used the gold standard.
Yeah.
So it's like for this many dollars, you can cash it in at the bank for like a gold bar or something.
They don't do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore
It sucks.
because instead of the gold standard, it's the USD standard. So it's like for this many yen, you can get that many USD.
So just like invest in gold because I think it's just going to go up every time. Don't do a 401k. Just like invest in gold. You know, all your money in gold, and maybe you're
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna plummet, so it's not super risky, but there's no guarantee it's gonna go up unless something specific happens to it. Unless you have some like insider knowledge. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I mean, aliens could be using gold to power the spaceships.
But that's just random. I could say aliens could be using Pierre to power spaceships.
That would be awesome. Well, as
But
men, well,
you could just say that about
wow.
anything. There's nothing really conclusive that would bring you to that conclusion.
That's true. They were really good argue. Were you in like debate club?
We had a debate club
Yeah.
made by Mehmet Hazır Baba, and then
That's-
it turned into Surf Rider Foundation, where you pick up trash on the beach.
Oh man.
'Cause-
Oh, that sucks.
I think, you know what? I don't know. I don't think debate club is a good thing for ASTI.
But,
I don't know. I don't think people are very argumentative here.
but
People are pretty chill.
that's true. But I think deep down inside, is they're like suppressing that, and you know maybe in college they're just gonna like it's like a famous just go guns blazing. But
Guns blazing.
yeah, I think be able to like argue, I think that's fun, being able to get your emotions out and your anger is like, you're not that way about this specific topic. And then
I think it is fun. I agree with that, but I don't know if people would be drawn to it.
no,
I don't think people would realize it's a good outlet.
you don't think people are like angry inside?
Not everyone. There's a lot of people that are just people have a lot of different fundamental emotions. There's a lot of people that are just sad inside. They don't really see anything to argue about. They're just kind of sad. There's people that are happy inside. They're like, you know what? The world might be terrible, but there's also good, and I'm just going to focus on it. So it kind of depends on the person.
Yeah. Do you think it's good to be an optimist? Because like looking at the good things of science, but also, are you also like ignoring the bad things?
It depends on what you are. I mean, if you're like an important influential figure, you probably I guess you could say it both ways because optimism can help you, but oftentimes it can also hurt you if you're
Yeah.
not being real with yourself. If you're saying like maybe you're in a relationship or something, you're like, "Oh, this person's normal.
Yeah.
You know what? They're just struggling with something. I could keep going with this." And then all of a sudden you ignore the red flags, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's when optimism can go wrong, but it can also go right if like something, bad things happen to people's lives all the time. You'll have loss, you'll lose things, you'll lose people.
Yeah, you can't predict that.
You can't predict it, and an optimist is probably going to be able to move past it. They're going to be able to say, "Oh, this happens to everyone. This is not a special circumstance that I'm going through. This happens to everyone, and people get through it, as am I."
Yeah. It's very, it's that deep. That's pretty deep.
Dude,
Dude, that's deep. That's deep.
That's deep.
That is deep, dude. Anyways, we have a caller question by one of our officers in Journalism Club, specifically made to ask you. a question.
Specifically made to me.
Specifically made.
Was
to
it
you.
Benji?
It wasn't Benji. No, it was the other co-president,
Ava? Ava wanted you to ask me this.
Yeah. So she said, "Why?" Purely, this is her question. I don't, associate with it. But why are you woke?
Why am I woke?
Yeah.
I wouldn't really. I mean, I guess that depends on how Ava defines woke. I
Mhm.
feel like this is a question Mr. Long wrote and not Ava, but
No, it's a.
it was Ava? Okay. Um,
I mean, how would you define woke? I would define,
I mean, yeah, let me hear what you had to say.
okay, I'd say a woke person is, he's, just politically aware of something, and he uses that knowledge as being like educated to think they're like better than others in a way, because they do know more, but it's like it's kind of being
It's like an
pretentious.
elitist
Like
sort of.
elitist, yeah.
Okay. Like a leftist elitist.
Yes.
I mean, I've had a lot of weird phases in my life. I'm hoping I've kind of moved past that.
Mhm.
I'm not super politically informed, I'm gonna be honest. Like usually when people like Rowan bring something up, I don't really know what he's talking about half the time. Sometimes I do, but usually I learn it from him. And I don't know, I definitely used to have a sort of like pretentious attitude about it because I was like, yeah, I read an article about this. I know what I'm talking about, guys. Buckle up. But now I'm sort of like, yeah, you can read an article, but really the people you want to be listening to are the people that have been spending their entire lives writing book after book about this,
Yeah.
like the real actual academics.
I'm only here for like conversation.
What do you mean?
Like, just talk to me. I can't really like, inform you on things unless I'm like a actual expert on it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I try to look at myself as well. Um, and then why am I leftist?
Yeah, yeah.
Why am I leftist? I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. It just makes sense to me. Most of it. Like
You're Republican?
what?
You're a Republican?
No, I'm not.
So, oh,
Leftist is like Democrat.
Oh, it was Democrat. I keep
Yeah.
mixing those two up.
Right wing is like Republican, reactionary. Left wing is like progressive, Democrat, I guess.
Wait, so blue is Democrat.
Yes, blue, Democrat, left.
Why is blue Democrat? Because I feel like it should be the other way.
That's the way it is. It's the other way around in the entire world. So all the like left parties are always red, but for some reason in America, it's just the other way around.
Damn it, America.
So that's probably what's been confusing you. Like, I don't know, like the CCP, which is like a left party, is
Yeah,
completely
it's
red.
yeah. But when we're talking about how you're a leftist.
I don't know. Most of it just makes more sense to me.
Mhm.
Again, I really don't know that much, so I couldn't even point to something specific.
Mhm.
I guess it's sort of like the fundamental values of the ideologies. Like right wingers usually value a lot about tradition,
The conservative.
family. Yeah, conservatives, tradition, family, sort of security, homogeny. I don't know. It's just stuff that doesn't really seem like it contributes to anything, if I'm gonna be honest. Also, conditions in leftist countries are usually better. Like I know everyone's brought up like Norway and
Yeah,
Sweden a million
Sweden.
times, but the conditions there are better, even though they live in like a bum snow hell.
But it's pretty good. The prison is good too. But let me argue with you on the being like no purpose in like the left, nah, white, being like Republican. I think being like conservative, I think it's good to like have like a dogma of good, just principles that have been working here. It's been working since like 1800s,
Mhm.
and we're still here. So I think it's good to change, but I also think it's bad to make like unnecessary changes that is doing more bad than good.
I think it depends on what kind of the left you're looking at. Like if you look at like left academic guys, they're usually not saying we need to destroy Western culture or something like that, but
Mhm.
they're usually saying stuff like, "Oh, we need to better the conditions, we need to better the foreign policy, stop, bombing people and doing these things."
Yeah.
That's typically what you'd get from like an academic left person. I mean, you'll get the people that are also like shouting in the streets and stuff, and you might catch some people saying some weird stuff about
Yeah.
like,
It
I don't have an example, but That's just because the media pushes that. They want to get a reaction out of you. So they
Yeah.
push these really inflammatory people that are screaming these things. And they're like, this is the woke left.
Circle.
They want to get you. They want to destroy you, everything you stand for. And that's kind of how people fall down both pipelines.
That's starting to become like propaganda. But yeah, it just really depends, because I change my mind a lot, and because on this article it says this, I'm like, ooh, I agree with the left. The other says this, I like.
They really know how to make themselves seem right
Yeah.
without bringing up like counterpoints, honestly. Because yeah, I mean, in middle school, I even had like an alt-right phase. I don't know. I flipped a lot too, but I just try to think about it less of like what I hear from the media and like their analysis of it, and more of like, okay, I hear what literally happened. What's sort of my logical reaction to this, instead of like, what are they saying and what are they saying, you know?
You think the media is mind controlling everyone?
What do you mean by mind control?
Just like with the analysts and like the news, it's just like
You could say that and not, yeah, you know, it's that's a pretty accurate description of what's going on. I mean, there are good medias, but they're always biased by something.
Yeah.
And especially now, because now they're not really tied to anything, so they can really do their own thing.
Yeah.
And it's especially with like YouTube journalism. I mean, you'll have like Channel 5, which is good. I like Channel 5.
Yeah. Andrew Callahan.
Andrew Callahan, yeah. I like him.
What's your I like the, San Francisco one. What's your
I watched that, not all the way. I did like that one. How the car got stolen within 5 minutes is crazy. That's crazy that they just started filming and the car got stolen. I think that's a crazy coincidence.
yeah.
I don't know. It's not that bad in SF though. I'll go to SF, and it's not like zombies walking around. It just depends where you are in SF.
That's true. Oakland's not bad either.
Oakland's not that bad. Yeah, it's the media making it much more dramatic than it seems. And then people are like, "Oh, it's the leftists. They don't know how to run a city, so we need a Republican city." I don't know.
Yeah, I like this about your political ideas. I love it. It's starting to become like it's journalism.
This is journalism.
This
is high-end journalism.
Yeah, this is the only episode where we actually get, journalism and not asking weird questions. Oh,
I think I like the Utah Rap Festival episode. I think that was the first one I saw.
With the Yeet?
I don't think he was there.
Oh.
It was a really old episode. That was the first one I saw like 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
It was just like really coked up dudes in the audience getting really excited, and then the baby didn't show up and they all started like screaming. There's like Mormons there too because it was in Utah. It was just funny.
Yeah.
I like the energy of that video.
Yeah. Yeah. So skip these questions. I want something thought provoking.
Okay.
Should kids who've done like terrible things in their life, but they don't view it as being that bad because that's how they grew up, should they be sent to prison because of that?
Well, how old and what did they do? It really depends.
Let's say a kid from the Eastern Europe place, 11 years old, grew up with ISIS, gets, he managed to escapes to America, and now he just like, if someone did him wrong, he just beheads them because that's what he saw.
11-year-old beheading someone. I mean, that's kind of crazy if you're 11 years old and you can behead a full-grown adult.
That's what he saw, and that's what he learned from ISIS.
If you're physically able to do that, then you're definitely a threat, and I think you should be put not necessarily straight to like prison and just forget about him, but try to rehabilitate him as much as possible.
So put him in like a 5-step program.
I don't know what do you mean 5-step program?
Just to like, better yourself.
Yeah, something like that. And then keep a good eye on him, make sure he doesn't do that again. If it's like an 18-year-old that came over, it's like, okay, at this point, it's much, much, much more difficult to rehabilitate them. I think there should still be an effort, but at a certain point,
You just sticking to your values then.
Yeah, at a certain point, if you've been brainwashed really hard, then it's hard to reverse that and get you to think as like a logically and empathetic person. Because these morals of like don't kill other people, don't kill innocent people, be nice to people, these are not just cultural values, right? It's not just something that the West or like, I don't know, the West and the East find good. These are like ingrained human biological tendencies. The
Yeah.
only societies that survived are the societies of people that had these morals. So it's like natural selection almost. The societies that kill each other will die out, but while the societies that prioritize, at least within their own clique, being not murderous and not being full of rage and stuff like that, that's
Yeah.
gonna pass on. So it's not just a societal thing, I don't think. I think it's inbuilt. Like why don't herds of zebras just kill each other when they get mad? It's,
They're trying
or
to
else they would
survive.
go extinct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so do you believe in natural selection?
Yes.
Okay. So
I don't even think it's a question of do you believe in it. It's like saying do you believe in this table? You know what I mean?
natural selection wasn't
It's like saying
Darwin.
do you believe in the moon? It doesn't.
I don't think it's like saying Darwin the one who made it? Who was the
Darwin's
inventor?
the one who observed it and
Uh-huh.
made uh the most like widespread publication of it.
I
I don't
see.
know. I think he was working with another guy, but I forget the other guy's name. People observed this stuff beforehand, though. It was just his kind of accumulated work is what brought it to the
Hmm.
mainstream.
Natural selection. So are you saying it in like the people or like the society?
Both.
Both?
Because people will have biological tendencies to be more aggressive, to be
Mm.
more complacent. That's not something you could place on a gene. That's like that's nature versus nurture. That's part of their nature, but it's also the society they grew up in, right? So someone really aggressive that grew up in like Alameda, California is probably just going to be like maybe a little verbally aggressive or maybe get a little angry at some people. But
Yeah.
someone like that who grew up in like a warring tribe in like in Polynesia is probably going to be killing people.
Okay, so you think the warring tribe is going to, is the first one that's going to be extinct rather than like a civilized society?
Um, Not necessarily because in the tribe they're not killing themselves,
No,
right?
they just
So
want to kill everyone
the
else.
tribe as a group, it's still more likely to go extinct just because of conflict. What if they go in conflict with someone that's bigger than them that can take on them and destroy them, right?
Mhm.
But within the tribe, they're not killing themselves, and that's kind of the main point I was making.
Yeah.
Like societies where you can just kill anyone freely without like moral boundaries is where that gets wiped out, and that's why I think morality is kind of built into human action in that way. It's not like some universal truth, but it's just built into humans. And some humans don't have that. I mean, there's mutations and things like that. That's why
Yeah.
you get people like psychopaths. They don't feel anything. They'll kill whoever. They don't care. But that's just because that sort of moral framework in their genetic, they're
Yeah.
not hardwired to it. Even if culture says you can't do it, they don't care.
Yeah, but I mean, I think psychopaths, they're pretty successful. CEOs.
I mean, yeah, it is true. They do have a lot more psychopaths in upper executive corporate positions. I don't know if they're complete psychopaths like that, but they definitely don't feel empathy, and so they're willing to do bad things in the name of business instead of have like a moral groundwork where everyone's supported and it's more moral. You know what I mean?
So being moral is a good reason. Should be the main reason to justify your actions.
Um, Usually, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't really boil down to that though. It's like, should I wear this blue shirt or this red shirt? That
Yeah, it's
doesn't
just
really
like
matter.
that's your.
It's more about big picture questions. Is this a moral thing to do?
Mhm.
Is this something that's going to benefit people or not?
Do you think you chose that hoodie that you're wearing based on your own preference, or just like you thought it was cool from watching something else?
I just chose it because it was the warmest one I have. I tend to not do my laundry on time, so I just have this big pile of dirty clothes in the side of my room, and then I have like one hoodie left, and this is the warmest one out of. I have like three hoodies left. This is the warmest one, so I chose it.
Sick. You have a doesn't it like stink up the place with laundry?
I'm used to it, so I
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
tell you. Usually when my dad comes into my room, he says to open the window. So I think that's a good enough sign. Yeah,
No,
it's I keep my room clean. I just don't do my laundry on time.
no, that's your own personal man cave. Yeah.
I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. Calling your room a man cave implies some pretty bad things.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's just kind of gross. It's gross.
Having a man cave?
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like
gross.
man caves are you could just play like games 20, I guess. You'd be like sweating and like eating Cheeto Puffs, but
Yeah, it's not something I want to be imagining.
yeah. Okay, damn. 35 minutes. 5 minutes. Last question. We only got through like 3 questions. Nice. So
It's a crazy way to end this.
thank you for doing my podcast interviews. Appreciate having you on. Any
Thank
final
you.
thoughts, questions,
Any final thoughts?
criticism, advice?
I think you did this well. Yeah. Final thoughts. Those of you who are listening, you're in the matrix right now. You need to
Yeah.
break out.
You woke people, just like have Neo's gonna someone in here is Neo.
Don't
Save us all.
overvalue yourself, realize that yeah, I mean sometimes you're good at things, but you're definitely it's the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah, yeah.
You're always going to be here, but really you got to plummet first. Realize that you've got a lot more to learn and you're not enlightened, and we're all kind of winging it. Nobody really knows what they're doing.
Yeah, we gotta be Socrates, dude. But
What happened to Socrates?
He kept on asking questions, even though he was the smartest person in Athens.
That's good, yeah. But also realize no one has it figured out like that. You know what I mean? People are figuring it out as they go. Don't feel like you're left behind.
Definitely. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you.